From someone that was barely hugged by my parents or my family, I struggled so much to find meaning. That meant attachment to other people, to fill that void that I lacked when I was a child. That meant I had to be dependent on other people to make me feel loved, to make me feel accepted, to make me feel like I had a purpose and a reason as to why I should live. I made these people my primary source of happiness and my primary source of joy. Little did I know that these same people or these same attachments would come back to disappoint me, to bite me back and use that very, very, very thing that I relied on them so much, take it away from me. So here I am now, free, able to talk about attachment and how you can detach from people and materialistic things so you don't fall into the same trap that I fell in. Remember this. When you attach yourself to people, it mainly comes from a point of fear. Fear that you'll never be good enough, fear that you'll never find good enough, and fear that if you let go of that particular thing, you will not be able to receive more of it. For example, the attachment to money makes you actually more poor and makes you more insecure when it comes to money. Here. Sometimes some of these things are childhood traumas. They have made us sick, these kind of things. Sometimes they're events that happen to us in life that repeatedly happen over and over again. So they start shaping us into those people that keep attaching ourselves to other people. You have to remember this. When you operate from a vibration or the kind of energy where you're relying on other things or other people, you will never know the fulfillment of your life when you let go. The more you attach to people or the more you attach to things, this can lead to more suffering, more misery, and more distress, and even anxiety. Because mainly the consequence of this is that these people will disappoint you. These things will not maybe come to you, or they'll keep on repeatedly disappointing you. And it will mean that your world is falling apart. But the question is, has your world really fallen apart, or the people that you've really relied on are the ones that have made you fall apart? Because the truth is that you can only go as far as those people go. You can only achieve as much as those people or those things that you're attaching yourself to. You cannot give the right to people, the right to things to have power over your life. Your happiness starts from you. It starts from inside. But there is no denial that outside the outside world, there are things that make us happy, give us joy, but they should not be the sole reason as to why you're happy, the sole reason why you should smile today. So this brings me to the law of detachment. But before we go any further, according to YouTube, 70% of you that watch my videos have not subscribed or have not hit the notification bell. That is really bad. Am I really that boring? I don't think so. But anyways, if you haven't yet done that, please do, so you can see more content like this. You can be more empowered, inspired, and honestly, isn't it lovely to see something different on your feed than everyday gossip and news? Anyway, can't wait to see you. Let's go into the video itself. Rule number 1 when it comes to the law of detachment: if you can attach to something, you are well capable and able to detach yourself from that particular thing, from those particular people. The law of detachment is one of the most powerful laws. It's also very challenging in a way. Mastering to embrace what comes, when it comes, how it comes, and how to be happy with what you've got is really very difficult. That is why you end up attaching yourself to certain things and attaching yourself to certain kind of people. When you detach yourself from people, from things, you create space in which things can come, things can grow, things can cultivate in your life. You hold on to things, and when you hold on to people, you are blocking more better things and more better people to come in your life, because you're attached to this one thing that your vision, your way of thinking cannot allow anything else to come and disrupt this particular thing that you've attached yourself to. Remember this quote: everything takes from channeling through you when you are open to receive it. When you detach yourself from things or people, you reduce suffering, you reduce anxiety. That is why you tend to feel much more lighter, much more better, much more happier. And it has been linked to living long and aging beautifully and gracefully. Don't tell me no more. In the book 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra, one of the things he mentioned is, with detachment, you have the power to create. With attachment, you are powerless, hopeless, helpless. For example, attachment to money can bring more insecurity. So you're wondering and you're asking yourself a question: what is detachment? Like, what exactly is this girl talking about? What is detachment? Because first of all, I've attached myself to something. Now she's telling me that I need to detach myself from this particular thing in order for me to find happiness. But what exactly is detachment? Let me explain to you. Detachment is a practice of letting go of the attachment in order to live a more happy and more peaceful life. Remember, detachment is not that you should not own anything. It just means that you should not let things own you. This is exactly what we're saying. When you attach yourself to things, those things own you. You do not own them. When it comes to the law of detachment, it's a very slightly a bit of a complex sort of thing to understand, but it's literally the laws you put around you, the principles, the guiding things that help you to detach yourself from things, to detach yourself from people, to detach yourself from those things that really make you anxious. And here are some of the things I can really explain to you. Number one, allow people to be who they are. Do not force yourself onto other people. There's so much power in allowing people around you to be as natural as they should be. It allows you to be as natural as you should be as well. When you're being your natural self, you become more attractive because you're living in your complete fulfillment. For example, if you find yourself studying to be an accountant because that is what you thought that you had to be in your life, and therefore you carry on to pursue that, yet your true calling is to be a teacher. You know deep down in your heart your calling was to be a teacher. Things will become so rigid for you. Things will become so intense for you. You keep asking yourself that I have a very good career as an accountant, but why is it I don't feel happy? Because your true calling was to be a teacher. So it's very important for you to notice if you're living in your true natural self or you're living into the flow of what you think the society should live onto. Why am I saying this? It's just saying that you have to allow yourself to be as natural as you can. In that way, in that form, you can allow other people to be as natural as they can be by not attaching yourself to people. There are situations whereby family, like parents, can attach themselves to children. Partners can attach themselves to, their other partner. Kids can attach themselves to their parents, and they don't live their own self. They live based on their attachment, and their happiness solely relies on the attachment that they have created for that particular thing. Not only is the principle of detachment about freedom, understanding and accepting uncertainty in your life, because sometimes we attach ourselves to things because of the uncertainty of certain things. For example, money, and I'm going to use money quite a lot. You attach yourself so much onto money that it becomes an insecurity. Rather than breaking free and saying that, life is uncertain, the world is uncertain, I need to let go of this attachment. Money will come to me, but I have to let money out of me. One of the beautiful things that I read, that I understood when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki, in the book he said that you have to be free. You have to be free to let money go, and you have to be open to allow money to come in. It's the same thing when I read the Laws of Prosperity. In that book she said that in order to create a vacuum in which good things should come, you should release the things that have attached yourself to those things you've attached, that you have to let go of the things that you've attached yourself to. And in those laws of prosperity, she says one of the most important things when it comes to money is that the fear of not having enough makes you actually not have enough. But the feeling of let me give whatever I have got, and you know what? I know I'll get as much as I can, but in a wise way, okay? This does not take away the aspects of we have we have to remember when things don't go your way, there is something better and greater that is going to come in your life. You have to be in a situation whereby you have to receive this. You have to be in a situation whereby you should allow it, because life is an adventure. But when you take away the adventurous part of it by predicting everything in life, by attaching yourself to certain things, attaching yourself to a piece of material, a piece of, a person, or a piece of everything, then you end up not being happy, and you don't end up living to the adventurous type of life that you should be living. Point number 2 is you have to make a list of all the things that you attach to. Anything that you feel that whenever you talk about it makes you anxious. If it's money, talk about it. If it's a best friend, do it. If it's a material thing, if it's a car, do it. If it's a house, do it. Anything that you've attached to and you've made it have a meaning, even if it's a job, write it down. Because in this way, you're going to challenge the belief of what you attach to, because we strongly believe that you won't be happy. You attach yourself to that thing because you feel like without that thing, you will not be happy. You feel like if you don't get that particular thing, or you don't stay with that thing, you're not going to be happy. But the truth is, promise you, you'll be happy with or without that thing. But in this case, we're looking at without that particular thing. So you have to make a list of everything that you've attached yourself to, everything that is not causing you happiness, anything that you feel like you can't live without, that you're so attached to it that you feel like without it you cannot function, without it you cannot be happy, without it you cannot find joy. You need to write it down, and then you need to try and challenge yourself to remember that without this particular thing, if I take it out of my life, I will still function. If I take away these people, I will still live. Because when it comes to people, without them, you are there and you are living. You know, with them in your life, it just added. But if you take them out, you'll still be you. You'll still be your own self. You'll still live, you know, according to the person that you're meant to live. The other point is that live in the present. Stop controlling other things, or stop controlling the future and the situations within the future. That's one of the kind of laws when it comes to detachment. You have to remember that you are in this present time right now. You are not in the future time. So you should stop trying to attach yourself to things because of the fear of the future. You attach yourself to this person and you want to be with this person because you fear that, you know, the years are running out, or the future, you know, is going, and if you leave this person, you're not going to find anybody better, you're not going to be in a better situation. So you start controlling that, you start attaching yourself to this thing so it doesn't leave you, because you think if it leaves you, it's going to be the end of you. The next point is freedom from identification. Self-explanatory in that one. Detachment involves freeing yourself from excessive identification with things or from people. Roles, labels, self-image, by identifying that your life is not led by those things, but is led by your own self. You cannot identify yourself by the presence of you having that car. You can't identify yourself by the presence of that much money in your bank account. You can't identify yourself by the presence of having that person in your life or that connection in your life. That is not the kind of identification you want, and you need to break away from that if you want to follow the rules of detachment to help you detach yourself from things in life. You can only be successful if you stop attaching yourself to things and detaching yourself away from them and not identifying by those things. You know, by having that Ferrari, you identify yourself so much that Ferrari that we forget that you're an individual without it. You forget who you are without it. The next point is acceptance. Attachment involves you accepting things as they are, not as they could be, by trying to control, manipulate them to fit in your own desires. You need to accept things as they are right now. You need to believe in the power of acceptance, because if you're not accepting things as they are, you're letting things, you know, control, you're letting things own you rather than you owning those particular things. Anybody who is attached to anything is not free. Anybody who is attached to particular people is not free, because those people control you. You don't understand that they do, but they do control you. You cannot attach yourself to things like you own those things, that you own those people, like your life depends on them. If you do that, then it means that your life is not your own, and you should come out and explain to people like, hey, beautiful people, my life is not my own. Life is controlled by Rita, because if Rita is happy, then I am happy. So make sure that you make Rita happy, because if you make Rita happy, then I'll be happy. Hey guys, my life is controlled by that Lamborghini. Make sure that the Lamborghini has no scratch, has no effect, has nothing, that I continue owning and I can afford to own it. Because if I don't, then my life is nothing, because I have given everything to this particular Lamborghini or Ferrari or whatever it is. You know, my job is literally my identification. If I walk into that place, that is who I am. That is what owns me. That is what controls me and everything. Without it, I am a nobody. I am nothing. Literally. If you're attached, you have no freedom. You're not free. You're controlled in that particular setting. Okay? So here are some practical things that you can do if you want to practice the law of detachment and you want to detach yourself from things. One of them is to practice mindfulness. Be a little bit mindful of the things that starting to control you, starting to make you anxious, starting to take away that, you know, feeling of freedom. Now you're now attaching yourself so much to this man, you're attaching yourself to this girl, you're still attaching yourself to that parent or that partner, you're attaching yourself to them, that they're now controlling you. So be a little bit remember, you are all you have and you are all you've ever needed. So take care of your own vessel in which more things are to come. Be free to let more things to come in your life. I hope this video has helped you. I hope you got to the end of this video. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and coming to the end of this video. I hope it helped. I hope it gave you a little bit of insight. But if it didn't, maybe we'll try again next time. Apart from that, I shall see you, I shall love you, and I'll wish you a lovely day, a lovely week, and whatever you're doing.